Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of 30 Days of AWS Amplify. Hope everyone had fun enjoying Diwali with your dears and dear ones. Today, we are back with the next technical presentation, online presentation. So before we begin, let me share my screen. Um a kind reminder that we have an awesome hackathon that is currently running. Um, you can have you can work alone or excuse me. There cannot be a technical presentation without a glitch. Just allow me a quick minute. Here we go. Sorry. So yeah, regarding the hackathon, you can either work alone or work as a team. You can have a total of 4 members at max, and the last date of submission is 20th of November. There are some very cool swags and prizes to be won. So apart from learning to motivate you enough, we have also included these swags and AWS credits. Everyone loves swag. So moving on to so before that, there's also a social media contest which is running. We are available on all the social handles with the uh, name AWS UG India. Use the hashtag 30 days of Amplify in order to tag us when you post on the social media, and also stand a chance to win cool prizes. Moving on with our speaker, we have Kenneth today. Let me bring Kenneth to stage. Hey, Kenneth, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Cool. Kenneth is joining us from Nigeria today. He'll be talking about building real-time data with AWS Amplify and Graphql subscriptions. A little bit about Kenneth. He holds a total of 7 years of technical experience in the industry as of now, and he specializes in creating dynamic, responsive web application using different technologies. He is also a four-time AWS community builder. Kudos to you, Kenneth. He is also an avid traveler. He loves to travel. He has so far traveled about 4 countries, and there are a lot of um, other countries in his bucket list. Um, Kenneth, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, Hi, everybody. Nice to have you here. So today we are going to be talking about real-time data with AWS Amplify and GraphQL subscriptions. Um, and I want it to be very interactive. I like when I'm presenting, if you have a question, you drop the question. If you have like an idea that pops up in the head, you can bring it up and discuss it during the Q&A. But for now, let's talk about real-time data. Yeah. So, like I am Kenneth, and this is like a little bit about me. I'm a senior software engineer with over 7 years of experience and all that. But today we are going to be talking about real-time data. Yeah. So these are the topics we are going to be talking about. We'll talk about understanding real-time data, the overview of AWS Amplify, then introduction to GraphQL, then we'll do a deep dive into GraphQL subscriptions, then implement real-time data with AWS Amplify, and then GraphQL subscriptions. Then we do a little demo, and then we conclude in that. I hope time is going to be on our side anyways. So let's talk about introduction to real-time data. Um, so what is real-time data? You might have heard in different applications or while you're building a software where someone is like, I want this application to work real time. It means that it's a data that is delivered immediately after collection without any delay. So it means that as soon as I'm sending you the data, you are receiving it. There is no delay in between. And an example of that is like the chat application that we have on the right here. So when you send a message, as soon as you drop the message, I can easily see it and respond to it, right? So what are the importance? It's crucial for applications requiring instant feedback or updates. Just imagine that we don't have this kind of real-time data application, yeah? And then you have a question to ask, and you ask this question, and then it takes me like 2 weeks to see the question. By the time I'm giving you the response to the question, it's of no value to you at that time, or you might not actually remember the reason why you asked the question in the first place. So that's why the real-time data is very, very important. So some of the examples of real-time data is required is like live chat applications, like this one we have here. We have stock markets tickers, like if you do stock market brokers or trading, you know it's very, very, very important that the tickers reflect what the market is saying at that point in time. Then we have real-time tracking, like a delivery system. I recently built a software application like this, where where a user could make an order, and then you will see the delivery person coming to you, following the map. So that's why I included this example. So why does real-time data matter? Real-time data enhances user engagement with instant updates. It has competitive advantage over because of businesses can react swiftly to changes. It improves user experience and eliminates the need for manual refresh. So, example I gave a stock market trade. You know how very important the stock is. The reflection of the change in price is to the stock market change. It can cost a company like lots of millions of dollars if there is like if there is no swift response to changes. Imagine when the price of a particular stock goes down, and then the there is no swift response, yeah. So which means a user can easily just go and buy without knowing that the stock market has gone down for that particular stock. So this is why it's very, very important for businesses. It also improves user experience and eliminates the need for manual refreshes. So you don't need to refresh to be able to see updates. So now we just talked about the importance and what is real-time data, right? Now let's connect this with AWS, right? So we're going to connect it with AWS Amplify because like we're going to know what AWS Amplify is, and then how we can connect the real-time data with AWS Amplify. And then subsequently we'll see how this is going to work generally. So I believe by now most of you know what AWS Amplify is. So AWS Amplify is a set of tools and services that enables developers to build scalable full stack applications powered by Amazon Web Services. And then the purpose is to simplify both front end and the back end development. So you can easily, as a front end developer, be a back end developer because you just use AWS Amplify, connect your front end, and you can be able to use other services and do what you want to do. So I believe most of us already know this. Now, what are the key features of AWS Amplify? You see we have authentication. You can easily set up user sign up, sign in, and access control. And you do this using AWS Cognito. And then we have APIs like seamless integration with Graphql or REST API if you want to communicate with API. Then we have data store, syncs data between your app and the cloud. We have storage, manages user content, both images, videos, and everything. And then we have hosting and CI/CD, deploys web apps with built-in continuous integration and delivery. Yeah, so these are like some of the features of AWS Amplify. With this, you just need to write a front-end code and then push the AWS Amplify, and you have most of these things sorted out. Um, why use AWS Amplify for real-time applications? So why do we need to use AWS Amplify for real-time applications? Because there are other softwares we can use, there are other applications we can use, but why are we using AWS Amplify? So one of the reasons is quick setup. Like we can rapidly build and deploy applications within a short period of time, right? The next thing is integration. So this works seamlessly with AWS services. So we can integrate it with other AWS services and then it will work very seamlessly. And then the next thing is simplifies complex features, eases the implementation of real-time functionalities like subscriptions. So we're going to talk about subscriptions, but we are going to see why AWS Amplify um, simplifies this complex feature for us. Then we need to understand GraphQL, because why do we need to use GraphQL as against REST API? Now, we will get to understand that here, and after that, I guess we can do some question and answering. So what is GraphQL? Definition: a GraphQL language for APIs and a runtime for executing those queries, right? So this was developed by Facebook in 2012 and it was open sourced in 2015. So what is GraphQL generally? Just a query language for APIs. It's a language you can use to query data for the client side, right? Now, a lot of you might have heard about REST API. Now let's talk a little bit about GraphQL versus REST API. So this is an example of a REST API, right? So you see we have the REST API and then we have the client. The client makes a request to the database, right? And then he needs to make a call each time to get a particular data, right? So you know in API, in REST API we have like endpoints, right? So you make an API call or post or get or patch requests to like players, and then you get data back, or you post data to players, or you can be able to modify the data that are in the players uh, database. And the same thing happens to teams, and the same thing happens to matches, right? So this is like doing it individually. But with GraphQL, we are getting all the data that we need through one call. So with one call, you can be able to specify all the data that you need and it will get it for you. And then you can now be able to like filter the data you need for a particular component and all that. So that's the advantage of GraphQL. So like over here, you see multiple endpoints can lead to overfetching or underfetching. That's the disadvantage of REST API. Why GraphQL single endpoint fetches precisely what's needed. So exactly what you define, that's what it gets back to you. So we'll talk about the advantages. Advantages is it reduces network usage and it improves performance on slow network. So imagine if you have a slow network and you make one API call to your database and you get all the data you want, you don't need to make subsequent API calls to get other data. Now you can be able to consume this data in different components, right? So it improves performance on slow networks. And then what is like the core concepts of this GraphQL in the first place? So the core concepts are schemas. So schemas are used to define types and fields in the API. And then we have queries. Queries is used to read only fetch operations, right? So we have mutation, and this is used to write operations to modify the data. And then we have subscription, which is the bedrock of our presentation today, which is for real-time updates from the server, right? So in GraphQL, we have schemas, queries, mutations, and subscriptions. So when we do queries, we are reading only fetch operations. When we do mutations, we are trying to modify the data we have in the database. And when we do subscription, we are doing a real-time updates from the server. So now we're going to deep dive into GraphQL subscriptions, which is like the concept of the whole application. But before we do that, does anybody have like any question?
There is one question by Share. It says, does AWS Amplify also gives us the capability to create regular APIs instead of creating GraphQL APIs?
Yes. So you can actually decide to use REST API instead of using GraphQL, right? So AWS Amplify gives you that flexibility to use whatever technology you want to use, including programming languages. You can use AWS Amplify with Python. You can use it with C Sharp. It's just all about flexibility when it comes to AWS, right? But what we are discussing today is real-time data with AWS Amplify and GraphQL subscription. So that's why you see the GraphQL in what we're discussing. Uh, is there any other question? Do we have any other question, or we should go on?
Sorry, I was on mute. I was saying that that was the only question so far. We can proceed.
Okay. So now let's do a deep dive into GraphQL subscription. Now, remember we've talked about three things now. We've talked about real-time data, the concept of the real-time data. We've talked about AWS Amplify as an entity, and then we've talked about GraphQL as an entity now, right? But the topic we're talking about is real-time data changes, right? So now I want you to understand where we are going. So where we are going is inside GraphQL, we are skipping schemas, we are skipping queries, we are skipping mutation, and we are going to subscription. Because when it comes to communication between applications, right? When we come to real-time communication between applications, that is where subscription comes into play. So subscription is like what we call WebSockets when we are dealing with like REST API, right? So now, what are GraphQL subscription? So GraphQL subscription is a feature that allows clients to subscribe to specific events in real time. Remember this definition, right? So it means that the user, the client is subscribing to specific events. It doesn't necessarily mean like when you come to like, let's say YouTube, and you go and click on the subscribe button, that's what we're talking about here. No, when we talk about subscription, we talk about an event happening, right? So if there is like on-create event that is happening, it means that that on-create event, which can be done with like AWS AppSync, will also have like a listing that you can listen to, right? And that is where you can be able to get the communication that is going on, right? So whenever that create event happens, that subscription that you are listening to gets triggered, and you can be able to see whichever data that is created newly, right? So I gave this diagram by the right. So we have like, we can use like a game functionality. So once there are some games that when a user comes in, they tell you that, oh, Alice is here, Bob has been there, right? So Bob is here, Bob starts a game, and opponent arrives, like, right? So he starts a game, maybe he's resting for an opponent, and then opponent arrives. And then when Alice arrives, Bob is subscribed to an opponent's arrival, right? So at this point, Bob is going to get a notification that Alice has joined, right? An example of that can be seen in meeting apps like this. Some of this meeting app, once a new user joins, you see a notification that this user joins, right? And it happens as soon as the user joins. So that's example of like real-time data communication. And then when Bob makes a move, Alice is being notified that Bob has made a move. So Alice can make a move, and then Bob is signified that Alice had made her move, and then he can make another move, right? That's how the moves is going to be made, and game will be updated just until the game has ended, right? So that's how subscription works out of the box, right? So functionality maintains a steady connection, sending updates as they occur. Like as soon as they occur, the updates are being sent. So how does subscription work? I've done a good job to like explain this thing very well, but I'm going to tell you when it comes to WebSocket connection, right? There's a persistent connections enabling two-way communication. So it's like WebSocket does not have subscription and listening, right? So it's just a two-way communication. I send a message, the message gets to you, you send the response gets back to me, right? But when it comes to like GraphQL, especially with when it comes to GraphQL concepts, when you talk about subscription, there have to be two things happening. One, there is a publishing happening, and then there is a subscribe happening, right? So if there is no subscription happening, and then there is a publishing happening, then that means that a user can create events, like I can send you a hi message, but you're not going to get it instantly because at this point there is no, you are not subscribed to that particular event, right? So when you publish an event, that's server-side events, and then the subscribe client-side listings awaiting event. So once an action is done, if an admin creates, let's say, a new task, you are notified that a new task has been created because you are subscribed to that particular task, right? So now, what are use cases for subscription? I've talked about this. You can use in chat application, real-time notification. When a message comes in, you see a pop-up as soon as the send button is pressed. Then you see collaborative tools like document editing, like I can be editing a document and you can be reading it over there. And we can do collaborative editing of that document, right? And then we have live dashboard and analytics, right? So when you have like a live dashboard, whenever a new data comes in, automatically the dashboard is updated because the dashboard, which is the client side, is subscribed to that particular data that will be coming in. So before we start the demo, is there any other question?
There is one question which asks what is the relation between GraphQL with respect to AppSync. I believe that that has been answered. That AWS Amplify uses AppSync under the hood. And then
Yes.
there is another one which is asking for some open source links for the examples that you are sharing in your talk.
Okay. Open source links. Probably we'll get to like look for it together here because I did not come with it. So maybe after the presentation, I can send you like open source links to like do this kind of a thing. But while we are here, we're going to do like this demo where you see how the whole subscription thing works.
Cool, awesome. There are no further questions as of now.
Okay. So now we are going to implement a real-time data, and then we're going to use AWS Amplify. So the first thing you need to do, or we can do together, is setting up your environment. Before you do anything in AWS, you need to have like an AWS account, and then you have Node.js installed, and then you have Amplify CLI installed, right? And if you don't have Amplify CLI installed in your system, you can do npm install-g AWS-amplify/CLI. So this is going to create the AWS CLI on your system, right? And then if this is done, then we can initialize a new project, right? So we are going to work on like an Amplify chat app, something that we are just going to use to communicate. Like I send a message and you see the message come, and then another user can be able to respond to it. I hope time will permit us to do all that. So now when you want to initialize a new Amplify project, you can do npx create React app. Now we're using create React app. It still doesn't mean you are going to only use create React app. You can use Vite. There is also ability for you to use Vite. You can use Next.js. You can use Angular, or you can use Vue.js. So whatever you want to do. So, but for this, we are going to be creating Amplify, and then we are going to create a React app, and then we are going to template it to a TypeScript, right? So once you run this command and then do cd amplify chat app, you will be able to be presented with the chat app. Okay, I guess we can start the demo. So we have so when you do amplify init, you need to set up. I want to set up a new AWS Amplify for this project. So you can do it in different ways. You can have it in your CLI, right? Or you can do it right over here, and then you link your application to it. So if you are doing it on your CLI, it comes with creating like an access key. You can be able to like create an access key and then create a username for the application. So all this happens once you do Amplify init, and it brings you to like your application, and then you can be able to like create an access key. Remember, I'm showing you the two ways we can do this. So you can come here and then click on create new app, right? And then we are going to create, I said we're going to create a chat app, right? So you click on choose provider. We're going to use GitHub. Now, this is like another way for you to link like your AWS Amplify, right? We can actually have the whole thing coded out, and then we can deploy it here. Or we can connect our AWS Amplify with our application, and then we can be able to deploy whenever we want, right? Or you can do manual deployment without Git. That means you have to copy and paste here. So, but we are going to be creating using let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my VS Code. So I did like what I said here. I did npx create React app, amplify chat app, and then templated it to TypeScript, and then I did a cd amplify chat, and then I did a code docs to open my application. So you can see I have amplify chat app. So when you open this, it's just basically going to be like um, every React application that you know. So there is nothing special, nothing here. But so right now, if we do, let me open my terminal. If we do npm run dev. Sorry, this is. So I'll be writing a lot of Next.js application lately. So you do npm run start for React applications.
That's fine. Happens to all of us.
Okay, so we are starting our application to see where we are at. We are going to have the normal templates. Once you create your app application. So we'll go to.
The meantime, it's running. Would you like to take a question? Although Sally answered that question.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
So there's a question which asks is if there is any difference between using GraphQL via Amplify Generation 1 versus Generation 2.
Oh, okay. Actually, there is no much difference because Gen 2 actually gives you much of a CDK, right? That's basically what you get a lot from Gen 2, but Gen 1 is absolutely going to work fine. You decide to set it up as a Gen 1, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And
There seems to be some technical glitch. Seems that he has dropped off. In the meantime, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. And yeah, just a reminder that our AWS 30 days of Amplify Hackathon is on, and you can you can register for it on this link, AWS hash AWS Amplify Hackathon devpost.com. There are exciting prizes for top 3, and there are some other prizes as well. Apart from that, there is an ongoing competition from AWS, uh, wherein you need to create a game. The link has been posted in the chat, AWS devchallenge.devpost.com. Do check that out as well. Uh, you can play smart. You can, if you are creating an application using AWS Amplify and Amazon Q, you can participate in both the hackathons. And yeah, the prizes and the other hackathon, AWS devchallenge.devpost.com, they are much bigger than 30 days of Amplify. But yeah, you have a chance to win them both. So, and just allow me a quick minute. Let me check with Kenneth with his connectivity. I just got informed that he had connectivity issues and he is joining back. Please bear with us for some time.
Hi guys.
Hey Kenneth, welcome back. There is definitely no event with no real event without a technical glitch. So don't worry about that. You
Yeah.
can start sharing your screen again. Hopefully,
Okay.
the connectivity stays with us for the rest of the
Yeah.
talk.
Okay. Sorry guys for that. I think I don't know. I was actually thinking I was still in the call. I asked a question and then I did not get a response. That was how I knew I was up. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, there is a notification which says that you're sharing your screen. You can just click on hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to go now.
All right. So we were like installing AWS Amplify, and then I was supposed to install the types. That was when the whole application thing ended. Um, so we have already done AWS Amplify installation. So now we are setting up. We set up the index.css. So right here we have the React DOM, and then we have Amplify. Then we imported Amplify from AWS Export, which we are going to create. And then we have like import AWS slash UI React slash style.css, which is the dependency we just installed now. So what we need to do next is we need to start writing our application. Like I said, I'm going to make this as fast as possible. I've already written this whole application, so I'll just do copy and paste. I wanted to run us all through it. So we're going to create a chat app right here, and then we are going to run it here. So we will create a chat app.css, right? And then I'll copy all the functionality, and then I will explain everything that has been done. So everything is going to be just in this one application. Everything in just in this one component, right? So we have can you guys hear me? Am I still on?
Yes, Kenneth.
Okay, okay, okay. Don't mind about the errors. We are going to remove it now. Okay. So what we're trying to do is we're going to take like API and GraphQL operations from AWS Amplify, and then we'll create a message which we're going to create a folder we'll call GraphQL. So we'll call it GraphQL. So inside that folder, we'll have like a mutation, we'll have query, we have subscriptions, right? And then we're going to define the onCreate, list messages, and then create messages. We will have mutations, CSS. Then we'll also have queries. CSS, and then we'll have subscription. And like the name implies, everything that has to do with queries will have them on the query components. Everything that has to do with mutation will have it on the mutation component, and everything that has to do with subscription will have it on the subscription component. So let's quickly create that. Is there anybody that's done anything on GraphQL before? Anybody? I'm asking because I want to know if there is need for me to explain what's going on here. Okay. I believe we're all good with when it comes to this. So we can go ahead. Remember to drop your questions if you have any. So now we have the messages, and then what we are going to get is the ID, and we'll get the username, the content, and the date created that and the updated that. And then next, if there are like other elements, there are other messages. This is going to be used for pagination if we're implementing pagination. Now we'll have subscription. This is the part. This is the part that has to do with the presentation we are doing today, right? So when there is a create message, right? This is listening to that create message. So this can only, subscription can only work whenever there is a create message. So create message triggers as soon as you click on the create message, and then the subscription also triggers as soon as you click on the as soon as the create message is done. Okay, now we need to put this effect here. Okay, let me explain what is happening here. So um, we have the chat app, right? And then we are getting random usernames. And then there's the contents, which is the message you're going to type. And then we are going to also be setting the messages, which is going to be like an array of messages. Yeah. Then we're using a use effect to fetch the messages. And then we are passing the messages that we got to, we're setting it to messages, which is what we're going to use to access the messages we have, right? And then we have this event. This event is a subscription event, right? So as soon as message is created, this subscription obviously is called, and then a new message is added to the list of the messages. And we also unsubscribe so that we don't have the application doing a multiple subscription. Then this is a normal React stuff where we like send the message and all that, and then this is like the basic styling for the application. Now, a few things that we need to take care of is we need to create the AWS export file. Now, if we had done the setup, I've not done it on this application, then this file would have come generated, right? Would have come with this file generated. So I think we have to get that one done actually. So to get it done, I will have to bring this here. So now we need to do Amplify init. We can open another tab. So when you do Amplify init, you are trying to initialize Amplify on the application. Can you give me a moment? I need to take care of something.
You want to take a break, Kenneth?
Yes, yes, just 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem. Hey guys, we are taking a short break. Kenneth needs to attend to something. Pros and cons of working from home. Also, everyone stay tuned for a cool quiz that would take place right after Kenneth's talk.
How long do I have?
How much time do you need, Kenneth?
I'll be done in, let's say, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So we are connecting the application together. and then you can select any region of your choice. I'm going to use US East 1 because this is like a demo, so it doesn't have to do. Okay. I think this is still signing into my previous account. Yeah. I need to stop sharing so I don't show my details,
Sure, that's
my
fine.
AWS details. Yeah. So
Sure.
I will.
I can
Have to wait.
remove that. You don't have to do
Yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Okay.
it's no longer being shared. You can safely do the needful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as everyone knows, that secrets are secrets and cannot be revealed. So that's the reason they are
Yeah.
being kept secret. There's a discussion in the chat regarding Gen 1 versus Gen 2. So we clarified that the current example used by Kenneth uses Gen 1. And we would have Gen 2 examples as well in future.
Okay. Um, if we want Gen 2, we can we can switch off to Gen 2 if we want.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the time factor. Would we be able to cover it in the time remaining? Or can we do it like a separate talk after this?
Maybe a separate talk after this.
Cool. Awesome. Let's do that. Can I share your screen again?
One moment. I'm getting my configurations.
Again, a kind reminder to everyone to do participate in the hackathon. We learn a lot by doing. We also have a dedicated Discord channel. We have created a separate 30 days of Amplify channel in our official Discord workspace. We'll share the details in some time in the chat.
For some weird reason, my IAM is not connecting.
In case there's a glitch in the demo, we can probably reschedule it. with Gentoo. Dedicated session wherein we have both the demos for Gen 1 and Gen 2. If that works for you.
Yeah, I think that will work because I don't know why my AWS is not connecting.
That's fine. As I said, live demos are meant to be broken, so no worries at all.
Yeah.
Live demos are always tricky. Okay. In case anyone has any, they can still ask in the chat, or we will move on to our next thing, which is quiz, which everyone loves. So we'll give everyone a minute to ask any doubt in case they have.
So what I can do for this is I'm going to finish the code and then probably post it on GitHub. Then I'll share the link.
Sure.
Yeah. Then we can do Gen 2 on a live demo.
Okay, cool. I'll give another 20 seconds for anyone to post their queries. Then we will proceed with the quiz. I'll take that as a no. Thanks, Kenneth, for joining us today. And we'll hope to see you again soon, hopefully with this corrected demo as well as the Gen 2 version of it.
Sure.
Let's connect offline. Thanks, Kenneth.
All right, thank you.
Hello. Isn't that an interesting talk about GraphQL?
Hey, everyone, please welcome Zach. He is an AWS hero and a part of the core AWS UG team. He is from Bangalore, for anyone who doesn't know him. Hey, Zach.
Hey, Evan.
Hey,
It was indeed a insightful session, and
absolutely.
demo gods unfortunately were not with Kenneth.
Yeah, demos are meant to be broken, so yeah, that's fine. So Zach will be running the quiz today. So Zach, over to you.
Yep. So I hope the quiz link is already in the chat and folks are joining in. I already see 4 participants who are joined the quiz. In case if you missed it, you can use the QR code that's there. I'll also share the link in the chat. So the code is 293969.
Let's give everyone some time to join.
Okay, we have 6 folks joined us. Aman, do you want to reveal the giveaways of the quiz?
I can probably reveal the AWS the first prize that we have for AWS credits. That's not 100, not 200, not 300. It's basically 500 USD credits. So that's for the first unit. So yeah, and that would be the one that would the series winners would get it. So don't miss the quizzes. But even if you do, if you are participating for a single quiz, there we have goodies for a single quiz. And the best thing to win here is the knowledge that you get. But yeah, everyone loves swag. So
Yep.
And just to add to that, I have not yet mentioned the cool swags that you will win. So keep an eye on that.
Let's start when we have 10 folks in the quiz. So one more person, and we'll begin with the first question. In case if you're still figuring out how do you join, the link is in the chat, or you could even go to conf.me/q293969. That's an easy code to remember. So 293969.
Yep. Let's go with that.
Okay. Here comes the first question. And since you're all talking about GraphQL, the first question is obviously about GraphQL. And
Tweets, what is one of the main advantages of using GraphQL over REST and API development? GraphQL uses multiple endpoints for better organization. GraphQL automatically scales without any need for optimization, allows client to request exactly the data they need, reducing overfetching and underfetching. Yeah, it's over.
awesome. Yeah, the majority of folks did get it right. So everyone's paying attention. So that's amazing.
Cool.
And the next question coming in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Which directive in a GraphQL schema is used with AWS Amplify to define authorization rules for your data models? Is it model, auth, function, or subscription?
About 10 seconds to go.
This should be easy. Okay. Wow. Okay, somebody skipped it. 4 of them got it right. Okay, let's head to the next. In context of AWS Amplify, which directive in the GraphQL schema is used to automatically generate CRUD operations and real-time subscriptions for a data model? Is it auth, connection, model, or key?
Last 5 seconds.
Okay, it is model, and we have 6 of them who got it right. Somebody also skipped it. And that comes to the end of the quiz. Awesome. So we have Ajit, who has answered all 3 in 43 seconds. The second name, I'm going to call it Pavan Vishnu. Not able to pronounce the first name, sorry. And Rupa. The first 3 winners. Top
Congrats,
3.
congrats to all the winners. We'll contact you separately for the prizes. Thanks, Zach, for running the quiz, and hope everyone learned something from this session. Please continue to join us for the remaining sessions. You can, in case you have not registered, we'll share the registration link for the upcoming sessions again in the chat. And the next session is scheduled on 9th of November, the coming Saturday. So please do join us. And also, as shared earlier, do participate in the hackathon. We learn by doing. So yeah, go ahead and build. And a kind reminder that we have a social media contest running. You can tag us in these social handles using the handles being AWS UG India on X, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Don't forget to mention the hashtag 30 Days of Amplify so that we can track you. And again, we assure you that there are some cool swags to win here as well. Okay, thank you everyone. See you on 9th. Bye.